What are the elites up to? That's a question that I want to explore in this third season of the What's Wrong with America podcast. I'm your host, Daniel D. In addition to the What's Wrong with America podcast, I also host the Crazy Comedy, Humor, and Satire podcast, as well as doing a few other things that you probably never heard of. And this question of what the elites are up to, it's really been bugging me lately. That's why I've taken some time off from this podcast, because I've been trying to figure out what is going on in America. You know, what are our ruling elite? You know, the billionaire class, the politicians, the bankers, the military-industrial complex, the intelligence services. What are they doing? You know, because a lot of their actions really defy common sense. And their messaging has been at odds with what they've been doing. And so it's possible that they're just stupid and crazy or out of touch with reality. Or it's possible that they know what they're doing, that there's a calculated effort to wage war on reason and common sense, to undermine basic values and norms that are foundational to our society, to divide and conquer by causing regular people to fight among themselves instead of recognizing a common enemy and what that common enemy is doing. Right now, as I'm recording this, is January 23rd, 2022. And the Biden administration is posturing for war with Russia. I don't understand why, but they are. Russia apparently is at odds with Ukraine. There's some tension over the border between Russia and Ukraine. This seems like it shouldn't really be any of our business. I mean, what is our interest that's so vital that we would seriously consider war? Not a cold war, but a hot war with Russia, one of the world's top superpowers. Yeah, it's one thing to say that we want to help the Ukrainians and so we'll give them aid in some way, but to actually talk and act as if war is a viable option, when what critical interest of the United States is at stake here that we have to defend? You know, there's no threat of Russia actually invading the United States or doing something to deprive American citizens of our basic liberties. You know, no, we've got our own elites doing that. What is it, though, that is so critical with Ukraine that we have to? Of course, the Ukraine also, if you remember, that's where Hunter Biden was on the board of a utility company, even though he has no experience in that area. And of course, big tech censored that story from ever appearing during the campaign, you know, after Hunter Biden's laptop was found and yada, yada. But yeah, what's at stake here with Russia and Ukraine? Why would our elites knowingly put us on a collision path with another superpower like that for a hot war? It doesn't make sense. You know, it's almost like we're on the Titanic. The boat's hit the iceberg. It's starting to sink. It's listing to one side. And the elites, rather than having us get on the lifeboats, they're having us fight among ourselves. They're telling us, oh, you know, the second class cabin, you know, they're bigger than the people, than the accommodations that the third class passengers have, you know, and trying to incite jealousy and rivalries between second class and third class passengers or whatever. Meanwhile, they're getting on the lifeboats and getting ready to abandon ship. So the question is, what are they up to? And what does it mean for the rest of us? So welcome to the third season of the What's Wrong with America podcast. I'm Daniel D. I don't want this to be a somber thing or like just negative doom and gloom. You know, I want it to be a realistic assessment, though, of what's going on. You know, looking at the patterns that have emerged over the past few years, the elites, their dishonesty, their the discrepancy between what they say and what they do and the impact that their actions have had. But also I want to say all this because I think it's important for us who are not elite to come together and also to recognize we're not alone, because we've been under assault. You know, there's been a calculated assault on reason and common sense and basic values and norms. And there is a method to the madness. No, you're not alone. No, you haven't imagined it all. It is crazy. But I believe that truth is on our side. God, insofar as I understand God, I believe God's on our side as well. It sounds kind of highfalutin for me to say, but I'm serious. But there's a lot at stake. And if I'm even on the right path on half of this, we've got a very wild ride ahead of us. But there's hope. And so that's what I want to convey and the themes and questions that I want to explore in this season. So anyway, join me on this third season of the What's Wrong with America podcast. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And I look forward to hearing from you. You can email me, www.apodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's www.apodcast@gmail.com. And check out the future episodes as I release them. And let me know what you think. And thank you so much for listening. Till next time, peace.